Welcome to another episode of Do You Really Know God? Tonight we're going to talk about what does Satan truly look like. We got a special guest tonight, Isiah Sarsfield. He's from Putnam, Connecticut. He's Devin's best friend. And we're a little bit late this week because Devin just got married yesterday. And Isiah is down from Connecticut down to North Carolina for the wedding, being the best man at the wedding. So it's been a little bit of a hectic week and weekend.
That's an understatement.
That's an understatement. But with that, we got the honor to have Isiah down. Now, with Isiah, with a little bit of his background, is he's been going to a Christian church up in Connecticut for many years. He's been to a lot of retreats and all around the country, I believe, if I remember right. Hearing from Devin, you've been to some down here. You've been to some. Where was that one that you told me about that you really liked? Rhode Island, Pennsylvania was one? Or there was one that you told me about that was really big that you liked.
Yeah, that was the one from Rhode Island.
Okay, the one from Rhode Island?
Yeah, Awakening Conference.
Oh, yeah, Awakening Conference. That's what it was. And so you've been with the church, so you have a lot of knowledge on the Bible.
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you. I'm very glad to be here, and I think this was a really good topic to talk about because I've really have an interest in this actual topic because when we think about Satan, we think about this person or creature kind of like thing and burning in hell, and sometimes that's not exactly the case, and honestly, so I've actually learned a lot about this particular topic. So
exactly, I want to start off by doing 2 Corinthians 11:14, and no wonder, even Satan disguises himself as the angel of light. With that being said, I think this too, with this time and age that we're in right now, with everything going on in the world this year, we've been trying to cover different topics that basically enlighten some of the stuff in the Bible of what's going on with the time and the age, and we want to update people, just to update you. We want to update people on who don't have access and don't go to church all the time, or are embarrassed to go to church because you've been in a church around. A lot of people don't like to go because they don't want to be judged. And a lot of churchgoers tend to judge outsiders. And it's not right. It shouldn't happen, but it does happen because we're all human.
Yeah, definitely.
So we want to inform them and help them with the Bible a little bit. And right now we're using a lot of time because it's hard times going on with the coronavirus and the politics.
The killer bees.
And the political stuff and the Black Lives Matters and the Antifa and all the riots. And with everything going on, I know a lot of people are very scared that Revelations is actually happening in the rapture, which may very well be what's going on right now.
We actually have an episode on that.
Yep.
Not too long ago. I think it was exactly a month ago. If the listeners, or even you, Isiah, yourself, if you haven't heard it already, are interested.
And here's the thing, is it may be happening, may not be happening, but even if it's not happening, I'm a strong believer that right now, God is telling us to wake up. He's yelling at us to wake up. And with this topic, the faces of the devil, I think it's a good topic now because people put it in mind that the devil is some red dragon being with horns and wings and a curly tail and a pitchfork.
Yeah.
In reality, he's not. It talks about a lot in the Bible about the devil being a serpent.
Exactly.
They also talk about when Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days. The devil was a human being. So the devil can bring on many faces. The devil was also an angel of light in heaven. He was God's best angel for a while there.
Yeah.
So he's a shapeshifter.
Oh yeah.
So we got to be careful because the devil can be with you right now, talking to you, and you don't even know it.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. We have to really be careful because the the devil's job is to come to steal, kill, and destroy, and that's what the Bible says. And the ways that he does those things are so crafted, which is also said in the Bible, is that, you know, the serpent was so crafty, and so he crafts this plan on how to steal from you, kill you, or destroy this world even, because, you know, the power of God is so strong, but the devil is also very, very powerful himself, and we have to watch out for that.
And he even talks in the Bible. It's in one of the quotes I just read, and it's in Book of John. I don't remember exact verse, but devil was actually saying he's gonna build his throne so high it will be higher than the stars of God. So in a Bible, it even says the devil actually thinks he has a chance of winning this. And if you talk about anything in life, the people you fear the most are the people who feel the strongest chance of winning. You know, because they have a good chance. Because somebody believes they can. And you got a devil who really believes he can overcome the world and take us from God. Unfortunately, in this time and age, the way it looks, he's kind of winning a lot of battles right now.
Oh, yeah.
We have a lot of riots. We have a lot of different things going on. People are tending to turn away from the Bible. We have a lot of politicians kicking the Bible out of the schools, Bibles out of towns. So the devil was actually.
I know they made a bill or a vote to take "Under God" out of the Pledge of Allegiance. Did that ever pass?
It never passed, but it's still in the fight.
Yeah, I feel like that's been in the fight for so long right now, and honestly, it's absolutely ridiculous, because, you know, ever since that, you know, the Pledge of Allegiance has been written, and, you know, like, why take it out right now? Like, why change it? Why take God out of the equation? And honestly, that's how our country was built on, like, is the belief of God and the love for God. You know, so and that's what the pilgrimage was all about, was people trying to get away from the Catholic Church because it was just ruling their lives so much. So they wanted to be a little more free with the religion, but still love, praise, and worship the same God that we all believe in. You know, so, you know, to take the whole under God thing out of the Pledge of Allegiance, I think is pretty ridiculous.
But that's where the works of the devil is coming in.
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
You look at all the stuff of God that they've taken out is all the devil's work.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we did. So the podcast, and obviously you guys know that I've been in Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
I'm actually an Eagle Scout. Well, I remember my last year in Boy Scouts, we did what they call Scout Sunday, which was at a local church. Usually the church that holds the Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts actually run a service. So one of the Boy Scout leaders does the sermon. And the Boy Scouts, you know, run the worship and everything. I remember the last one, we had Mr. Jim Luce. He was doing the sermon, and it was actually a pretty good one. It was all about, would Jesus make a good Boy Scout? But one of the things that I'll never forget is he played a little video, and I've tried for the last, I think it's 3 years now I've been out of Boy Scouts, to find this on YouTube, but I cannot. It is a recording from, I believe, the 50s of this radio announcer who is giving a speech to warn people about the devil and about his plan. And all of his, I don't want to say prophecies, because he wasn't trying to proclaim anything significant like religion, but his predictions, that's not the word I'm looking for. all are coming true.
Well, I know the exact video what you're talking about, the speech. I'll find it for you after. And because he didn't really give predictions, but he's given of if America or if the world let the devil do this.
Yeah.
This is gonna happen. And he wasn't really giving a prediction. He's given a hypothetical scenario that is actually now actually coming out.
And I remember he was talking about the mark of the beast.
Yep.
A lot of people are saying those are what I think China's doing it now, and if I remember correctly, it's Bill Gates is strongly pushing for everyone to get chips in their head.
Yes, Bill Gates.
They say that's the mark of the beast.
That's the mark. Here's the thing: is with this whole, what does the devil look like? The devil is out there right now fighting in full bore. And here's the other thing: is people think the devil is fighting alone. He don't. He has his own army of angels. When the devil was banned from heaven and sent down to earth, he was sent with his own army of angels that was his little followers. So he's not alone. So he has his little army that's going. And there is people that are the Antichrist on the earth right now trying to do their work. And I'm not going to say who it is, because I know I have in my head who I think is the Antichrist right now on the earth. But the chip is 100% a mark of the beast. Mm-hmm. And the second you get chipped, you actually gave your soul to the devil. Mm. You are definitely giving your soul to the devil.
I know, I don't want to say this I know for a fact, but if I remember correctly, I heard that China, anyone who got the COVID, actually had to have a chip implanted in them legally or something like that.
Well, China has not done it yet. They're trying. Bill Gates is also pushing for the whole world that you can't even buy groceries if you're not chipped. He's pushing for it. So if people want to know who the Antichrist is, watch the people. Well, he's out there. He's in plain sight. Now, here's the thing about the Antichrist. It says it right in the Bible. He's going to be a well-dressed, good-spoken person, an influencer on all, very wealthy, and very outgoing, smart man. That's what it says in the Bible the Antichrist will be. So with that being said, it's pretty kind of good clue of who the Antichrist is in working
There's
right now.
There's not many people he could be. He's not Joe Blow down at this, bagging your groceries at the grocery store.
No, he has a very high influence. Now, here's the thing with the devil. The devil is a liar. He's a cheater. He will do whatever it takes to win. So think about if you're out there in the world and it's only you and you're in this community where, say, you're the only unarmed good person in this community of 100 people and they all just start attacking you. You're going to do anything you can to win. Alright? I mean, you're going to bite, kick, scream, do whatever it takes to win. Well, the devil is in a world where he wants to win so bad, and God is already so powerful.
Yeah, you can't be.
So he is biting, screaming, doing whatever he can do to get more powerful than God.
Mm. And so, and kind of going back a little bit, is that, Chris, you said that the devil, the Antichrist, would be somebody very well spoken, very well dressed, has high influence, and that actually takes me back to a movie. If any of you have seen The Devil's Advocate,
I love it. Yes,
and it's the devil was in the form of a man. It was Al Pacino that played the role, and he played a very high up person. He had his own law firm in New York City.
That was your worldwide law firm.
Oh,
mind you, that was a worldwide law firm because they're talking in the movie how he represented people from Middle East. He represented people from China. So it was a worldwide law firm. If you watch the movie, pay attention to it. When they giving him the tour, the one who winds up being his sister,
Yeah.
She's in the thing and she's speaking another language on the phone. And he's looking and the guy said, yeah, she's dealing with something over in Saudi Arabia. We handle the world.
Wow. I've only watched The Devil's Advocate like twice, but the second part the second time around I kind of picked up more things.
Well, I didn't catch this one till like the 9th time I watched that one. Wait a minute.
Wow. I didn't realize that. Yeah, so I mean, the devil is going to be like all over. You know, even if he's in one place, he's going to be trying to get himself all over the world.
He has the power to outreach. As we do with the church. We try and outreach.
Yeah.
And we try and collect tithing to outreach to help God's plan. The devil has the means already and he's outreached.
Right. And so one thing that we're trying to convey through all these examples of where the devil could be is that he could literally be anywhere. He could be anything. And that's...
He could be your best friend. You don't even know it.
Exactly. And that's kind of the whole point of this episode. If it seems like we're veering off and just talking about movies, we're talking about something else. That's the whole point of this episode, is that he could literally right now be Candy Crush Saga on your phone. He could be whatever he pleases to be. Whatever he thinks will take you, convict you, and turn you to his side, or at least enough to steal your soul. That is what he is going to be.
And here's the thing, too. The devil, it talks about him multiple different ways in the Bible. He's a serpent, he's man, he's an angel of light. There's also in Revelation it says he is a dragon. So, with that being said, he's a shapeshifter. Now, I'm a Star Wars fanatic.
Oh man, I am such a huge fan. I've watched every.
Think about Star Wars and Star Trek. You have your shapeshifters.
Oh yes, yep.
Think of him as that. He will be whatever. I remember one episode of Star Wars, in the Star Wars, and it was kind of like they're chasing the shapeshifter, and when they're getting ready to kill the shapeshifter, it turns into this like beautiful woman, kind of like, whoa, don't kill me, I'm just a harmless woman. And Anakin was like, what's going on here? And then it wound up hitting him and running off again, and he's like, whoa, wait a minute, what just happened? The devil will be whatever it is to get your attention. So if you're a guy who's single and just like women, it may be the beautiful women that you're eyeballing.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a woman and you love puppies, never guess what? That puppy might be the devil.
Oh, yeah. You know what? And actually, you know what? That brings me to my next thing. But Devin, can you say what?
One thing I was gonna say is that one thing I know. One thing that has always interested me for a while is what they call a succubus. And what that is
I've heard of that.
It's a demon that will suck your soul out while you're sleeping. What it is it disguises itself if you're a man, and it's, if I remember correctly, it only preys on men.
Yes, it does.
But while you are sleeping, in your dream, you will see this beautiful, like, undescribably
most beautiful woman you've ever seen in your life.
Female. And you'll be having a dream, and then in the dream, she seduces you. And, you'll wake up, and you'll see this beautiful woman laying on top of you. But as she sucks your soul and your life out of you, she takes her real form. And so she becomes this ugly, unbearable to look at monster.
But it's too late at that point. You gotta realize once the devil has your soul, you're done.
Yep.
Yeah, once he has you in his grip, it's very hard to get loose of that and to realize, oh my gosh, and try to run away from that.
Right.
It's very, very difficult.
And so the point of that was just to say, not only do you have to look out for the devil who can be anything, but he's not the only one working on his side either.
He has his angels around me. Hey, there are angels that came with him. His
Yep.
army. What were you gonna
And
say?
so, they're talking about how the devil could literally be anything. He could be a dog or this is, or even a woman.
Yeah.
So and even the devil has his followers on Earth, where and mostly so like you would hear about witches, right? And so there is this movie. I'm so something about me. I am a huge movie fanatic. You will hear me talking about movies constantly. So I have seen this movie, The Witch, on Netflix, and in this movie, there was revealed that there was this family moved exiled themselves from a village that had such strong beliefs and very strict rules, and they didn't want to be under that, so they moved. They exiled themselves out in the middle of the woods and started a new life. And it was revealed that there was this evil entity that was surrounding them in these woods, and it was these followers, these witches, and you would see these animals all throughout the movie. The first one was, I believe, a goat, which would appear multiple times throughout the movie, and then they went out hunting and they saw this rabbit and had very, very strange eyes, almost like it was like a person's eyes almost, and it was very strange. It was very suspicious. So I think the director of that movie was trying to play out these forms that the devil could take. And then later on, you would they showed a crow that had deceived the mother of this family and had taken her mind and made her hallucinate something that really wasn't there, and instead was hurting her. So, and then in the end, the goat had turned into a man and had grasped the oldest daughter, and he was in his voice that he was speaking in at the end of this movie was so still, and it was very subtle, and he used the most crafty words to get her to be what he wanted her to be. So, and so with that all being said, that was basically my point, is the devil could take any form he wants just to get somebody on his side.
Exactly. And I think
Even
that's
if
a
it's
good
just
parable
one
on
person.
that. Using like a parable, I think that's a good parable of what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Using animals. And here's where one thing you can use to kind of defeat against the Antichrist and against the devil, and this is what we're trying to arm you to see what's going on. One is do your research. Something seems too good. Something just seems slightly off, or even like a lot of this, you see a movement where this person's fighting all Democrat and this person's fighting all Republican, but they don't know why they're fighting. Find out why you're fighting for that party.
Yeah.
Find out why you're following this person. Find out why you're protesting this protest. Get the meanings behind it. And don't just do it just because, like, Black Lives Matter. I see a lot of people fighting on Black Lives Matter just because they think it's a movement to save black lives. When in actuality, Black Lives Matter has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, because they don't care. The head of Black Lives Matter don't care about blacks. They don't care about life. the head of the Black Lives Matter, believe it or not, one of them just got arrested for human trafficking.
Oh, wow.
So, think he gives a crap about Black lives?
No.
Because he's a human trafficker. The other head one is a white Democrat, rich white Democrat, Sorrellis. What's his Sorrellis? Something like that. Sorrellis. He's the money behind it. He's an old white Democrat. He hates blacks. He's been known to be affiliated with the KKK. He's the money behind it. He's funding this to get a racial war happening. So here's the thing: a lot of people are following it, and Black Lives Matter, just by the name, sounds innocent, sounds great. Yes, Black lives do matter, but the group movement is not what you think it is. Do the research behind the movement before you follow the movement. With anything, you can't just jump off the ship not knowing what's on the other side. Let's find out, do some research, because here's the thing. The devil is, like you say, over and over, very crafty. He's using names and he's using themes and stuff to get you to follow, to get you to jump aboard. And people are doing mindless jumps. And I just watching a video with a Russian KGB member. This was an interview in 1984. Walter Cronkite did the interview. And he talked about the KGB, and this is back in 1984. And he admitted he left the KGB, he abandoned Russia, came to America. He ran, he left everything. He's been a KGB member all his life. His family was KGB. And he talked about how he came here, and then he talked about how mind control, Russia uses mind control on the citizens, and that's how they keep the communist stuff going. And he said since he got to America, he sees it. He says the mind control of the devil, which he even said the devil, which he called Russia the devil, because he's having the communists. He says it's a 40-year plan. He says they slowly start controlling your mind about this. And he says they slowly implement little things, take God out of the schools, they take God out of this, they take God out of that, and they slowly move things in their way. They said they got to influence 2 complete generations. And that's when they're complete. Because once they get the second generation into it, they are so brainwashed, they will do whatever they are told to do by the government. And he said, in 1984, he said, America was already 5 years into it.
Oh, man.
Now, this is a KGB abandoned. He said he had deserted to America for a safe haven because he figured it was different. He said when he got here, and he said he's here, at the time he was here about 10 years, he said he's seen it coming. And he said he didn't know what he was going to do about abandoning America before it got too late. That was back in 1984. So we're at the point where he said, America was going to the devil. Now, for a KGB member to say that, because most communist countries are anti-Christ. They're anti-Christian. They are more, they claim they're like Buddhists or Muslim. Most or Hindu is the other one.
Hindi.
Yeah, they are more to that religion, but they don't push it. But Christians and Catholics are banned from any. Like, you go to China, don't say you're Christian. You are dead.
Wow.
You will be killed. You go to Russia, you say you're Christian, you're killed. You are not allowed to be a Christian or Catholic in these communist countries.
Or openly, at least.
Yes,
and
not openly.
We kind of touched on that with Nate as well. Nate was telling us a little bit about his experiences in Middle Eastern countries, about
Which
how
are Muslim, yeah.
Yeah, he would go to stores, and the store owner, you could see a little Bible tucked in the side, but it was, if you weren't looking for it, you wouldn't see it.
Really?
But
because they cannot openly.
That's
practice.
one of the things that has always tripped me up. That I've heard, because I've heard a few different sermons where pastors actually used people. I think one was at the Awakening conference I went with you, Isaiah, where a pastor talked about how people were getting beheaded in Somalia
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
because they're practicing Christianity.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it was Levi Wilkinson.
No, Levi Lusko.
Levi Lusko. That's I don't know why I said Levi.
You were. I think you were getting mixed up with Levi Lusko and Rich Wilkerson.
Probably. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it was Levi Lusko, and he was saying it, and I remember that was the first time I ever heard anything like that.
Believe it or not, last month alone, China killed 4,000 Christians.
And see,
China.
Goodness.
That's something I've always
That
said.
was Chinese people they found.
I've always said that. I've heard that, and like I'm a strong enough Christian, and I'm stubborn enough to where it doesn't matter what you do to me. If I believe in something, I will proclaim it. If you have a knife to my head or not.
Exactly, and that's how most Christians are, true Christians.
But I sit there and I think, when these people are doing this, the devil's sitting there and he's laughing. He's sitting there and he's doing that little villain finger touch thing and
The little, what are you, burns from,
yeah, from The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's exactly what I picture when I think of Christians getting their head cut off. I can literally, like, if I were to be watching it, envision right in front of it an invisible man just sitting there doing that.
And you know what? That actually takes me to another movie, The Passion of the Christ.
Yes.
If you guys have ever seen it.
Yes.
So when Jesus is being... so first he was in the garden praying. And he was praying, he was sweating, he was crying out to his Father God. And he sat there, questioned who God was, who really is your Father. Do you really believe that? And then when he was getting chastised, being whipped at the post, you would see him just walking in the crowd. Nobody could see him, but Jesus looked over and he could see him walking. And as well as Mother Mary, when Jesus was carrying the cross to Calvary, which is the hill he got crucified in Jerusalem, and while she was walking along the street, watching her son Jesus carry this heavy cross, she sees across from her exactly Satan.
Satan follows everything. I'm a strong believer Satan was there when he was crucified because he had that little battle with Satan in the wilderness.
Oh, yeah.
And Satan tried everything to convince him to switch over. I mean, Satan promised him the entire world as his kingdom.
Yes.
And he told Satan, sorry, I'm going to stay with my Father in heaven. And he turned Satan down. So I strongly believe, like with that movie, I agree with you. I think Satan is there for all the bad stuff because he's watching what its outcome. Like when Jesus died on the cross, I think Satan was partying. He's like, yes, he's crucified, I won. But 3 days later, here comes Jesus back up from resurrection and saying, I've got you. You're mine. I just defeated death. I just defeated you. Now go. And it's just like I love that song when death was arrested.
Yeah.
That song, Death Was Arrested. I don't know if you ever heard that one.
I can just picture.
But
Jesus.
I just can picture the devil and the devil's angels all partying, having this party. And a couple of days later, Jesus is like, you are defeated. I am back, and I'm stronger than ever. So I'm coming for you. And they're like, oh, crap.
I like to think they're all down there partying. Jesus is getting crucified. And he has like a cigar in his mouth, and like he has drinks in his hand and everything. And all of a sudden, some young guy in a suit, he comes up with the clipboard, taps him on the shoulder while he's partying. He says, "Boss, we got a problem."
I love that one.
That's hilarious.
I love that. But it's kind of like if you want to go with a movie parable, is Devil's Advocate.
Yeah.
At the end with Keanu Reeves, and he's supposed to mate with his sister to create the
Antichrist, yes.
And he's ready to do it, and Al Pacino, the devil, is like, yeah, I got it. We're all going, and if you watch on the wall, you see all the devil's angels. They're all like having this sex party, and they're all having this big thing, and you see all the movement and everything's going right. And Keanu Reeves looks at him and he says, "Free will, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, free will." Keanu Reeves takes the gun, he blows his own head off, kills himself. That killed the whole devil's plan. Now he can't reproduce the Antichrist. And the whole thing gets banged right around, but then it's funny because it goes right back to the point when the devil entered his life.
Yeah, so, I mean...
It was a strong... Boom! He's like, nothing ever happened. He went right back to when devil entered his life, and he's in that court case. Now he had a choice to do this all over again with the devil and be filthy rich, or lose his first court case and be deemed a loser. Now he went through it because the first time he went with the win. He went with the kill. He got to see the devil got it, but then he outwitted the devil by saying, free will. The devil was like, yeah, free will. Go to town, give it to her. And then he used it to shoot himself. So it was kind of like, we all have that moment of we all can defeat the devil. The devil's strong, but he's weak. We all have free will to beat him. It's just, do we know how?
Well, that's the thing. Every person has their weakness, their moment of weakness. So does the devil. And once you find his moment of weakness, or once you realize that, your life is going good, you have good faith, maybe you just bought a new house, or maybe, whatever, maybe you just had a really rough week and now it's really good. That's when it's at his weak point.
Well, perfect example too is the story of Job.
Yep.
Story of Job. I mean, I don't know how you could have defeated the devil any more worse than when the devil made a bet with God and took everything from him. And no matter what they took from him and what the devil did to him, he still loved God the most. And to me, right there, he defeated the devil hands down.
Yeah.
You got to defeat the devil no matter how good or bad things get.
Right. And that's what I was trying to say is, when you notice his point of weakness, that's your turn to strike.
Yes.
He's been sitting there striking you to get your point of weakness. Once you find his, strike. And it's your turn.
You got to use it. And I think Devil Advocate, I love that movie. I think that does it really good because that talks so much about free will. And we as men, we have free will.
Right.
We've had free will throughout anything we do, and God gave us that right of free will.
Yeah.
And the serpent, crafty as he was, talked Eve into eating the forbidden fruit.
Yeah.
Now, forbidden fruit, even God told him, was that tree was the tree of good and evil. We knew nothing.
Wasn't it called the tree of life?
Tree of life, but it's the tree of good and evil. Basically, Adam and Eve didn't know about good and evil.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't have fears. They did not have biases. That's why they were running around naked. Because they didn't know as that as being a bad thing.
Well, they're just like a toddler who's always trying to take off their diaper. They don't know any better.
Exactly. Once they ate the fruit, it gave them knowledge. Once it gave them knowledge, it made them modest. Now, they can't be naked. Oh, God, this is bad. You can't be naked. You got to cover up. And then it also taught you about evil, and a little bit about evil. It tells you about good, and it shows you like how evil seems very good and tempting.
Yeah.
And it gave man what we are today, which is sin. You got to learn what the devil is. He's gonna entice you with things you want.
Right. It's gonna sound all great. It's gonna sound like the best life and best opportunity you have, but in the long run, it's the worst.
It is, and it's like we talk about many times. You gotta think about life of eternity. Our time on this earth is a very, 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 very minute second in eternity that we're gonna live.
Yeah.
So what do you want after your life? Your lousy few years on earth out of billions of years of life. You want your billions of years of life afterwards to be in torture, in torment? Do you want to be in the love of God?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want the afterlife? Because your afterlife is what's going to be your real life.
Right.
What you have here is just a minute fraction of what there is in life.
And like our buddy Dustin, he was my youth pastor for a while, and one of the first little sermons I had ever seen him do, he pulled out it was like I believe a 10-foot string of rope, nylon rope, and he had, you think of masking tape, you know how it's like, I think it's only an inch long, not even.
Different size, usually half inch.
Yeah,
regular.
he wrapped one small strip over the end of the rope, and he said, this rope is eternity. This one little piece of tape is your life. He said, your life starts right here at this piece of tape. Look how much you have after it. And he said, do you really want to party for this one little piece
And give up.
then have hell literally the rest of eternity?
And eternity, you can't even wrap your head around eternity.
No, you can't.
I mean, I know I can. I can think pretty big numbers, and that's a big number to think in my head.
Scientists have actually had a study on it. The human brain can literally not process eternity. You can sit there and you can, because what they did was they had a test where they had tried to have people plan for eternity. So like plan it like you're going to live forever. But the human brain, after only half an hour of thinking, gives up on eternity.
Here's the problem: human brain has to have an ending.
Exactly.
Everything in the human brain has to have an ending. Eternity is no ending. Just like the universe, everybody's taught, oh, the universe is huge. It has 10 galaxies in it. No, it probably has a couple billion trillion galaxies in it.
Well, and
it's eternity. The galaxy is eternity.
And this one study I read about, what they did was, I think it was science students at Yale, I want to say it was. They had a study group, or I think it's called a study group, where they have different people in different rooms. So what they did was they had one control, which was actually another student from a different class. And they sat them down and they said, we want you to think of eternity. They said, if you were to plan your life forever, what would it be? And this student, he came up and he started planning, and after about half an hour planning, he got up to 1,000 years of his life planned out. From the minute he started planning, all the way until the end, or till 1,000 years, to the point where he was just like, okay, I'm done. Then they brought in average college students who weren't in the science class, and they sat them down. I think they did about 10 of them. They had different ages, different sex, everything. And the average could only get up, the highest got up to 1,500 years, I believe they planned, before their brain was just like, okay, I'm done. The shortest was about 200, I believe. The average was only 700 years.
Yeah.
People, like, and I'm the type of person where I've always said, I don't plan my life ahead. Like, honestly, I never thought I was going to get married like I did yesterday, a year ago.
Yeah.
I don't plan my life. I just let things come to me because I trust God. He's not going to put me in a situation I can't handle. And I was talking to Isaiah.
That's God's will anyways.
Exactly. And I was talking to Isaiah and our friend about that earlier. I was saying, I don't like to plan things only for the fact it doesn't matter what I plan anyway. What's going to happen is going to happen. I can sit here and plan that tonight I'm going to eat Cheetos until 5 in the morning and then play video games for the rest of the day. But you know what? If that's not God's will, I might be eating grapes. And that's my...
Here's the thing, though. We don't have to plan life.
Exactly.
Should be planning death. That's what Americans, that's what human race has to do. Is
Yeah.
we shouldn't be planning life, we should be planning death.
Exactly.
So in other words, we're supposed to be leading ourselves to our death. So when a rapture happens, do you want to be on the side of the good, where you go to heaven and you go to eternal love? Or do you want to go with the devil into a sea of torment for the next eternity?
Yeah.
For the next eternity.
Yeah. So it's like we should not be planning our life. Our life does not matter. We should be planning our death.
Right.
Yeah.
And by planning your death, you're going to have the life to live to follow God and Jesus Christ to make it to the next stage. Think of it like a game show. You know, you want to make it to the next level.
Yeah.
And like you don't want to wind up in that water pit.
Mm-hmm.
You want to wind up in making the obstacle course.
Yeah.
The devil is in the water pit. He's waiting for you.
Yep.
He wants you down there. He's going to lie to you. He's going to take any shape, form,
Think about it
and
like
tell you whatever you want to hear just to get you
like
there.
the movie It. The devil is Pennywise the clown, and you're Georgie just trying to get your boat.
Yep. I got a balloon down here.
You'll
Yeah.
float too.
Yep, I got your boat, and I got a balloon too for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
you
all
want both? Oh, just come down here. Just come down.
We all
you
float
know?
down here.
Yeah, we all float. We got lots of balloons. You know.
So then that's 100% right. And the devil is going to take any chance he can get, and he's going to use any tactic he can. And I encourage anybody listening to watch The Devil Advocate if you haven't, because I like your analogy. That is one of the best movies about the devil and his schemes to get you to where he wants you. Because if you watch the whole movie, what he does to Keanu Reeves and his wife and all that, it's just so subtle in there. It's like, wow. It gives you a little eye opener. Like his wife sees that he's the devil, but she can't say nothing because he's shutting her up by taking Keanu Reeves, keeping him working, and he keeps giving her little things to make her go psycho. And now she thinks she's not believing herself, and then she winds up committing suicide in it because he played this little mind game with her right from the get-go. Yet he kept Keanu Reeves working away from her while tempting him with flesh of a prettier girl.
Yeah.
And it just shows so much on that of what the devil is capable of. I know it's only a movie, but Hollywood, if you watch Hollywood,
It reflects real life.
Hollywood has some pretty good imagination because it shows you what's out there. And a lot of these writers have that out there, and I'm a strong believer, God is putting some of this stuff in the writer's head, because people ain't gonna all go to church, so he's giving you images of stuff you're gonna watch.
So he's trying to warn you.
He's trying to get your mind working of, hey, this is what can happen, and this is what's gonna happen. It's just a matter of seeing the signs of following it.
Oh yeah, and honestly, Al Pacino, Keanu Reeves, some of the two biggest actors in the decade right now. You know, like Al Pacino's still going. I mean,
I know the guy's been around since the freaking
The Godfather.
I think he's around with Jesus.
And then Keanu Reeves, he makes movies, like he just flies them out. Like it's just like almost every year he has a new movie. Like wow,
But for them two to be in that movie in a way that is portrayed, that whole movie, I'll give both actors 100% credit on that. That was a good portrayal on each side, and especially the ending with the battle of good and evil at the end.
Yep.
Because if you watch the movie, Keanu Reeves' mother was a saint. She's very religious.
Yeah.
And then you find out that Al Pacino is actually Keanu Reeves' father on top of it. So he is the devil's son.
Yeah. I mean, spoiler alert for you guys.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry. But
you can express your anger with us in the comment section.
But it's been on auto for a while. Everybody should have seen it at least once. I've seen it probably like 40,000 times already. I love that movie. I actually just watched it like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yes, literally 2 weeks ago. You were
it wasn't even 2 weeks ago.
It wasn't even.
It was some. We went to the beach last. It was this past Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He watched it that Sunday. Or no, it was this past Sunday. We watched it on Saturday.
Oh wow!
So yeah, what you mean a week ago? A week and a day.
Yep.
So the thing is the devil and the God. God is on our side. He's fighting on our side. But again, we're going to talk about this again. God gave us free will.
Exactly.
With God giving us free will, He is not going to force us to take His side. And He ain't going to stop you from taking the devil's side. Because He gave you free will as a man. It's up to us to choose what side we want to be on in this final battle. But you got to understand, I don't care what movie you watch. I don't care what you watch in life or how things happen in life in your eyes and what you see. The good always wins.
Yeah.
So God is going to win. Bottom line, God's going to win. Satan can build his kingdom as big as he wants, and we can get as many people on his side. God will prevail. In the end, when the rapture happens, God will win. So, what side do you want to be on? I don't know, it's human nature. Naturally, I want to be on the winning side.
Yeah.
So, you want to be on the good side.
I'm very competitive. If I don't win, I'm going to win.
And God's going to win. Because the good never... You watch a movie, good guy always wins.
Yep.
True life. If you watch in true life, you'll have the bad guy. He'll win battles and he'll have like the grand old life. But in the end, the good guy prevails and the bad guy gets shit on. It's going to happen the same with heaven and hell.
Well,
it's already written in the Bible, God's going to win. The devil just seems to think he's in his own cruel mind that he's going to defeat God, but he ain't going to.
Like I said earlier, art imitates life and life imitates art. You see something, like how many times have you seen something in a movie or you've seen, a book or a song and you thought, man, that's really like that time this happened. It's just the simple fact of you're gonna relate life to things because everything in life happens the same way. Good always wins.
I'll give you a perfect example. World War II. You had Satan at the helm of Germany. Satan, the Antichrist. Hitler was an Antichrist. It's a known fact he was an Antichrist. America defeated him.
Yep.
Good defeated evil.
Yep.
Now, mind you, he already took over all of Europe, part of Africa, half of England.
He had a good part of the world dominated.
Exactly. And he had Japan attack us from the backside. So we were fighting two different wars.
Yep.
And we still prevailed.
Oh, yeah. And the slaughtering of what was it, like 6 million Jews or something,
6 million,
and that's exactly what the Antichrist will do, is to kill, steal, and destroy. He started with the Jews. He stole from them their freedom, their rights, their life. And then he was trying to destroy them. He was trying to destroy them, their lives, breaking their backs at concentration camps. And then once they served their purpose, they killed them. They put them in a fiery chamber.
Yeah.
And you know what? That speaks volumes right there. They put them in a fiery chamber where they could burn.
Yep. And the thing is, it's a known fact that Hitler was Antichrist. And if you don't believe me, research it. Actually, even scientists, there's scientists who are atheists, who are actually now turning into Christians, who are actually now talking about Hitler, saying it's 100% he's Antichrist just by what he did. Not only that, he went biblical by going after the Jews.
Well, see,
that's going into biblical right there.
The
They're going after the Jews.
Is I watched a video about this actually. You literally copy and paste the word straight out of the Bible. What a Antichrist is You copy and paste that into
That's
a picture,
Hitler.
it's Hitler.
Well, not only that, you look at Hitler. He's a good dresser. He's a very well-spoken guy. He was very well-spoken.
Had a little questionable mustache. But
Yeah, but he was very well-spoken.
Yes,
he was a very smart man.
Yeah.
He's a very influential man. Because he's a man who took power by brute force with his own little people who would literally die for him. He had people that literally dressed up and looked identical to him
Yep.
to die for him so he'd be safe.
Yep.
That's a lot of influence that you can put onto somebody. He was a true Antichrist. And in the Bible, I think the Bible talks about there was going to be, 4 Antichrists before the actual Revelations? Or was it 3? I think it's 3.
Yeah,
Three is a very
I think it
common
was
number
3.
in the Bible.
And now, it is said, well, we already know that Hitler was one. Guaranteed 100%. No. It's said that Napoleon was the first Antichrist. Hitler was the second. I believe the third is walking. That's my opinion. Leave it in my opinion. So that means Revelation's on its way. Now, granted, Book of Revelations is not like what...
It's predictions.
It's predictions, but like everybody's like, oh, when the rapture happens, we're all going to be done. No. When the rapture happens, it's a years in progress. When you read a book of Revelations, it's not an overnight, like, oh, all the souls go today, tomorrow everybody gets judged, next day the big battle. It's not. You go through frickin' seven months of these weird-looking mosquito things that's gonna attack you.
Yeah.
You got the mountains falling to the rivers. You were talking over years, and then you got 7 years of hell on earth.
And we made an episode going on. Was that the 7 signs or the 7 trumpets that is included in?
We did both.
But which one was the cricket things?
The 7 trumpets.
7 trumpets. So yeah, we did. We actually did 2 episodes back to back. The first one was the 7 signs of the rapture, the 7 seals. If you want to go double check that, and then right after we did the 7 trumpets. They are 2 separate things. Many people don't know that.
Yes, it's not all happening at the same time. It's 2 separate runs of the Revelations.
Yeah.
But you can find that in another episode.
So Revelations, we could be halfway through Revelations right now. We just don't realize it yet.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, so I can't remember the title of it, but I remember I sat down and watched a movie with my mother one night. This was years ago, but man, it was all about the rapture. The rapture
was it
happened.
Left Behind?
I'm not sure.
Not Left. Yeah, Left Behind.
Left Behind.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
Was you on a plane when a bunch of people at the beginning of the plane and a bunch of people on the plane disappears and first part of the movie starts off with a bunch of people just disappearing on the plane.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think
Okay,
it
that's
was.
Left Behind.
Well, there's 2 versions of Left Behind actually. There's one with Nicolas Cage, which was made in 2014, I believe.
Okay, that's the one I see.
That's the one you saw. There's another one came out in 2000 that was similar, but not. They had a few different storylines. Like the Nicolas Cage one didn't include anything about Israel. The opening scene for the one from 2000 was all of the surrounding nations of Israel were all going to bomb them at the same time. And there was a news reporter who was there when this was all happening. All of a sudden, all the planes started crashing. No single bomb hits Israel like a supernatural force hit it.
Yeah.
And they're saying that God would not let his holy land be destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was, but it was crazy though, in this movie, I think it was these people were at a wedding or something, this big event, and so they were on their way out, I think, and they were on the elevator, and these people just passed out. Just like they just fell to the ground like they were literally dead bodies. And I was like, what just happened? Like, I was like, this is crazy. And just all at the same time, just people were just dropping like flies. And then there were these people that got left behind on Earth.
Yeah.
And then you just see the world going crazy.
Yeah.
And then you literally see the creation of hell on Earth. And man, it freaked me out. Like, I was like, dude, if this ever happens, or when this happens, I really hope I'm already dead.
You hope you're part of the first group.
Yeah,
I hope I'm dead by the time this happens, I'll take the direct flight to heaven. Like, once my time is up,
if you read the Bible too, that 5 months of torment by the mosquito things, you cannot die.
Oh gosh, wow.
If you read it, it says you cannot die. You will not die. You will be tormented. Well, that's only if you're one of the tormented. So if it says in that time there's going to be people who are not real good, but they're not bad, so they're not going to be tormented. Because they can be swayed on the good side, so they're going to be left alone and they'll be fine. It's the ones that are a little bit more on the bad side, they're the ones who are going to be tormented, trying to change them to the good side.
Yeah.
But those who are tormented by these little killer bug things, you got 5 months of these things that are going to bite you and bite you and bite you, but you ain't going to kill you, and you cannot commit suicide. You will not be allowed to die.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, wow. bit harsh.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
If that don't convince you to take the good side, I don't know what is.
So real quick, you were talking about the 7 signs of the rapture, and then the 7 trumpets or something, and I just wanted to point out, that number 7 is also because God created the earth in 6 days and then rested on the 7th, and so I thought that number is very...
That number the number 21 are very significant numbers in the Bible.
One thing I think you would like, we actually posted a video about it. It's called we call it the Book of Cards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's actually called, but what it is, it's how you can take a deck of cards, single deck of cards, and turn it into everything you need to know about the Bible.
Yeah,
wow.
But we
it's pretty neat.
Yeah, we can talk about that off air.
And the other thing too, another movie that using movie parable, you with Demi Moore. What is it called? Signs, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Signs. Yeah.
That movie is actually pretty good on talking about the 7 signs.
Mm-hmm.
Of how it goes when you break the seals for each sign. And it shows how that's starting to go. And that's a pretty good movie about start of Revelations and start of the Rapture.
Yeah.
And that movie probably is the first movie that got me into reading Book of Revelations. Because I want to know more about it. And that movie gave me actually a pretty good sign of what to look for.
Yeah.
Of what each sign is, because it gave you, and he broke the one seal and the seas turned to blood. So it gave a pretty good image in my head. So when I read Revelations,
I knew what to expect.
It kind of enhanced it for me.
So you got a comment section for this week?
And the sad part is I had a perfect comment section a little bit earlier in the podcast, but I could talk, and more stuff came out of my head that left.
You got one? Yeah, is that?
So I wanna see if what other people think of this talk, because you know what, I think when I came down and Chris proposed this idea for the podcast, I was all over it, and I've been wicked excited to speak about it and do it with you guys. And being a guest host on this one was, perfect. I think it was a really good one. So I want to know what you guys, the viewers and whoever's listening in on this podcast, I want to know. I want to know what you guys think. And I encourage people to kind of do their research. Look into the Bible more, and if you're interested in Revelations, I'd recommend reading into that. I think it's definitely worth, because John wrote 5 books?
Yes.
In the Bible. Wow. So John was very heavily in the Bible, so I think Revelations is worth taking a look at.
John was also the closest with Jesus.
Mm-hmm. He was there when he was crucified on the cross, and he was there with Mother Mary, John
was also there before. He's the first disciple, and he was there before Jesus actually started doing his walk. Wow. So he knows a lot more about Jesus than any of the others.
Dad calls it his debut tour.
Yeah.
His debut. I like that. I like that.
Where he goes out and finally proclaims, "I am the Messiah."
He did a little bit of work, but not a lot, before he actually went public.
Yeah,
being the Messiah.
He didn't have a plan. So he got baptized in the Jordan River by John the Baptist, which was one of his closest friends and one of his
mentors, even.
Yeah,
he looked up to John the Baptist.
Yes, he did. John the Baptist was a very heavy influence on Jesus and on his journey of his life. So, and when he got news of John the Baptist's death, he was very saddened by it. But then he had John, his disciple, and John was very, very faithful in his following.
But Jesus is funny, because Jesus is actually coming out tour, what I call it.
Yeah, he's coming out tour.
He's coming out tour. When he actually proclaimed that he's the Messiah and let people know, and that's when he built his disciples. That was only about a 3-year span.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Like people say, his whole life. No, that was only a 3-year span.
Yeah.
Most of his life, he did little tiny things just to let people know, hey, I'm somebody to look at. But he never did anything big.
Mm-hmm.
Till he did his come out tour. Then now he's like, hey, I'm the Messiah. Bring it. What you got for me? Bring it. And that's when he really fought and battled the devil. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, too, is when he did the 40 days in the wilderness. That was before the coming out tour.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That was before. That was where he got his head straight, because he knew he had it. Because he knew the outcome of the tour.
Right.
Yeah. He knew the outcome was his death. And then his resurrection. He already knew that beforehand. So he did the 40 days of fasting in the wilderness to basically become one with his Father in heaven. And to be tempted by the devil. Because that was part of the whole plan, is to tempt the devil. Because what they wanted to do is Jesus and God, and the whole plan is to entice the devil to say, hey, you may have a chance. We're going to have a little battle here for the next 3 years. We're going to go for it. And they enticed the devil enough to get the devil following him, and get the devil enticed and thinking they had him. And then when Jesus died, the devil thought he won, only for Jesus to come back 3 days later with our sins in their hand and say, hey, I beat you, dude. Yeah. I'm still alive. What you going to do now? So you got to look at a lot of that. My comments and stuff, what I want people to do, I want you to research. Do your research. Don't just follow what somebody says. Don't protest because somebody says it's to protest. Don't protest because you think that it's the right thing to do to protest because of somebody's color or race or creed or something like that. Don't do that. Protest for God.
Yep.
Fight for God as much as you fight for others, because you know what? Other humans can be the devil that you're fighting for.
Yeah. Blessed are those who speak out for the Father in heaven.
Exactly.
And to kind of go with that, my comment section, like he just said, the devil can be the people you're fighting for. I guarantee you, if you're listening to this podcast right now, the devil has showed himself in one form or another to you.
We all see
What do you think in your life? Doesn't have to be currently, could be something that happened 10 years ago, 15, whatever.
Or it could be something that will happen in your future.
Yeah, it
You
could be
never
something in
know.
your future, or it could even be something right now. What is one person, don't give any names, just relationship to you, or one item, one maybe TV show that you feel the devil has presented himself to you with?
And mind you, with this is the devil is a very persistent entity. Just because you want him today, don't mean he won't be back tomorrow. He does not quit. Here's the thing: is you can't let him get the upper hand. You can't let him win. I know for a fact I fought the devil many times in my life, many different ways, many different people per se, or entities. It wasn't just I fought the same person all the time and it was always the same devil.
Yeah.
It's never the same. It could be the devil of drugs. Drugs is the devil.
Yeah.
Drugs is the devil.
Yeah.
It's the devil giving you something to influence your mind. Your drug dealer is the devil because he's influenced your mind. The devil comes in many shapes, many forms. Lust is the devil. That hooker that you're going to see, that's the devil. Alcohol, going to the bar every night, that is the devil feeding you. It could be in many shapes or forms. It could be that boss, could be your devil, could be that coworker, could be your wife, could be your husband, could be your uncle, could be your mother, father, anybody. That cause you're fighting for could be the devil's cause.
Yeah.
Do your research. Because the devil is not coming after you once, and when he loses, he's not laying the golden fiddle at your feet and saying he's been beat and walking away. He's gonna lay the golden fiddle at your feet, and he'll be back tomorrow to try again in a different shape, form, or way.
You got anything else you would like to say before we close it out of there?
So as Chris was saying, the devil doesn't quit. The devil doesn't quit. You know, he's going to be back. You know, when Jesus, was put to the test by Satan in the wilderness, Jesus said, "How dare thee put God to the test?" And he was like, "All right, you win this, I'll be back. I'll be back." And he was. When he went on his tour, surely enough, he was. He came back. He came back. And, so, yeah. You got to watch out. Look for signs. Look for the signs. There's always going to be signs. You may not pick them up at first.
Nope.
But there are signs. Do your research.
Do your research. And the Bible is a good research.
Oh, yep.
And if you don't have the Bible physical paperback copy in your hand, go on Google, type in the Bible, and you can bring up the Bible app. There's a Bible app that is great. I got it on my phone. And you can type into the app certain things that you want to do. Like tonight's topic, I put Bible scriptures about the devil, about Satan. It gave me a bunch of different scriptures to kind of research. It will give you the answers.
Yep.
The answers are right there in the Bible.
Yep. Download YouVersion. You can get it on the Google Play Store, App Store, or probably anywhere. Honestly, I have it on my laptop. So you can get the Bible anywhere. It's the #1 selling book in the world. Although the Bible actually isn't allowed in 7 or 8 countries in this world.
There's a lot of
crazy.
countries it's not. China is not allowed. Middle East is not allowed. There's more than 8. I think there's, what is it? There's 187 countries in the world. I think the Bible is banned from something like 44 of them.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, but but it's still the number one selling book throughout the whole entire world.
Yep.
God is good, guys. All right, do your research, read up, and don't forget, look for the signs. And please let us know what you think in the comments below. And it was really nice talking with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Everybody have a great weekend.